Hi, welcome back for the next lesson regarding chapter 6. So we have our gathering evidence chart, and we just finished up the quotes and the explanations regarding the children seeing their mothers and their reactions to seeing their mothers. And we are picking up on page 97 in the yellow book and page 108 in the other book. We are listening for and paying attention to details for a new setting. So a new location and place. So we had left off, Meg had just said, "Let's go." She cried harshly, "Let's do something." So now that she's seen her mother so upset, it has caused her to be angry and protective, and she wants to fix it. "She's always so right," Mrs. Whatsit murmured, looking towards Mrs. Witch. "Sometimes I wish she'd just say I told you so and have done with it." "I only meant to help," the medium wailed. "Oh, medium dear, don't feel badly," Mrs. Whatsit said swiftly. "Look at something cheerful, do. I can't bear to have you distressed." "It's all right," Meg assured the medium earnestly. "Truly it is, Ms. Medium, and we thank you very much." "Are you sure?" the medium asked, brightening. "Of course. It really helped ever so much because it made me mad. And when I'm mad, I don't have room to be scared." That's going to be an important quality that we learn about Meg. And keep in mind, we will have a quiz on chapters 5 through 8. So some of these I'll point out. I'm going to repeat that. It really helped me ever so much because it made me mad. And when I'm mad, I don't have room to be scared. "Well, kiss me goodbye for luck then," the medium said. Meg went over to her and gave her a quick kiss, and so did Charles Wallace. The medium looked smilingly at Calvin and winked. "I want the young man to kiss me too. I always did love red hair, and it'll give you good luck, laddie me love." Calvin bent down blushing and awkwardly kissed her cheek. The medium tweaked his nose. "You've got a lot to learn, my boy," she told him. "Now goodbye, medium dear, and many thanks," Mrs. Whatsit said. "I dare say we'll see you in an eon or two." "Where are you going in case I want to tune in?" the medium asked. "Camazotz," Mrs. Whatsit told her. Where and what was Camazotz? So we do now have the name of our new setting, but we're not there yet, so let's wait. Meg did not like the sound of the word or the way in which Mrs. Whatsit pronounced it. "But please don't distress yourself on our behalf. You know you don't like looking in on the dark planets, and it's very upsetting to us when you aren't happy." I will point out that if you wanted to take a little bit of that for your quote, I'm going to hold off and wait, but we have the name Camazotz, and we do know that it's a dark planet. But there's so much more throughout the chapter. "But I must know what happens to the children," the medium said. "It's my worst trouble, getting fond. If I didn't get fond, I'd be happy all the time. Oh, well, ho hum, I managed to get pretty jolly, and a little snooze will do wonders for me right now. Goodbye, And her word got lost in the general of a snore. "Come," Mrs. Witch ordered, and they followed her out of the darkness of the cave to the impersonal grayness of the medium's planet. "Now, children, you must not be frightened at what is going to happen," Mrs. Witch warned. "Stay angry, little Meg," Mrs. Whatsit whispered. "You will need all your anger now." Without warning, Meg was swept into nothingness again. This time, the nothingness was interrupted by a feeling of clammy coldness, such as she had never felt before. The coldness deepened and swirled all about her and through her, and was filled with a new and strange kind of darkness. There was a completely tangible thing. Tangible, she can touch it. She can feel the darkness going through her. A thing that wanted to eat and digest her like some enormous malignant beast of prey. Malignant usually is one of our vocabulary words, but I didn't put it on our chart this time. But I can't remember our exact definition, but if you this term often is used with tumors when they're cancerous. So there, a lot of times you'll hear of something either being malignant or benign. Benign meaning there's nothing to it. There's no problem, it's gentle. If a person is benign, they're very gentle. Whereas malignant is the opposite. It's aggressive and spreading. So she can feel this within her body, this evil. Then the darkness was gone. Had it been the shadow, the black thing? Had they had to travel through it to get to her father? There was the by now familiar tingling in her hands and feet and the push through hardness, and she was on her feet, breathless but unharmed, standing beside Calvin and Charles Wallace. So remember, they've just wrinkled or tessered again somewhere new. Is this Camazotz? Charles Wallace asked as Mrs. Whatsit materialized in front of him. Yes, she answered. Now, let us just stand and get our breath and look around. So here comes some description. They were standing on a hill, and as Meg looked about her, she felt that it could easily be a hill on earth. There were the familiar trees she knew so well at home, birches, pines, maples, and though it was warmer than it had been when they so precipitously left the apple orchard, there was a faintly autumnal touch to the air. Near them were several small trees with reddened leaves very like sumac, and a big patch of goldenrod-like flowers. As she looked down the hill, she could see the smokestacks of a town, and it might have been one of any number of familiar towns. There seemed to be nothing strange or different or frightening in the landscape. So here's a paragraph that describes what the setting looks like. And I want to remind you too that I think we're looking for both similarities and differences. So although I have pulled up our worksheet on the quote part, I'm going to go back up to that question. You remember have underlined some things here. Oh, describe the new setting that is introduced to the children at the end of the chapter. Be specific. How is the new setting different from Earth? So this one doesn't ask for both similarities and differences. It just asks for you to describe it and then point out how it's different. So I will put down here, I'm going to make a note for myself in the quotes that maybe I want to come back to this page. So in the yellow book, I am on page 99. And let's see, in the black book, I'm not sure how far we got. Yep, page 111. Okay, I'm not going to take a quote yet, and I might end up changing those page numbers. But at this time, we are going to leave that there as a note. Do we want to use that as a description? Or can we find more that really goes into the differences? Okay, let's keep reading. But Mrs. Whatsit came to her and put an arm around her, comfortingly. I can't stay with you here, you know, love, she said. You 3 children will be on your own. We will be near you. We will be watching you. But you will not be able to see us or to ask us for help, and we will not be able to come to you. But is Father here? Meg asked, trembling. Yes. But where? When will we see him? She was poised for running, as though she were going to sprint off immediately to wherever Father was. That I cannot tell you. You will just have to wait until the propitious moment. Perfect moment. I'm not sure that's the... Charles Wallace looked steadily at Mrs. Whatsit. Are you afraid for us? A little. But if you weren't afraid to do what you did when you were a star, why should you be afraid for us now? But I was afraid, Mrs. Whatsit said gently. She looked steadily at each of the 3 children in turn. You will need help, she told them. But all I am allowed to give you is a little talisman, Calvin. Oh, talisman. Calvin, your great gift is your ability to communicate with all kinds of people. So for you, I will strengthen this gift. Meg, I give you your faults. Before I continue, I want to point out, these are very important details you're going to need to know later on, the gifts that they're given. So a talisman is usually like a token, or you think of carrying around a rabbit's foot for good luck. She's going to give them something that's going to help them on their mission. Calvin, she's going to strengthen his ability to be able to communicate with people. Meg, she's giving her faults, to which she responds, my faults? Meg cried. Your faults. But I'm always trying to get rid of my faults. So what are faults? The things that you do wrong, all the things, your terrible traits, right? Yes, Mrs. Whatsit said. However, I think you'll find they'll come in very handy on Camazotz. Charles Wallace, to you, I can give only the resilience of your childhood. So resilience is normally one of our vocabulary words too. It's the ability to bounce back. So he's so young, he can bounce back from things very easily. He's not been knocked down throughout life. Whether it be physically, if you think about 5-year-olds, when they fall down, they bounce right back up, I'm okay. But it's the same with emotions too. They bounce back pretty quickly when they're young. So she's giving him that resiliency that he kind of already has, but that reminder of it. Now that was Mrs. Whatsit. We have the other ones to give gifts to. From somewhere, Mrs. Who's glasses glimmered, and they heard her voice. Calvin, she said, a hint. For you, a hint. Listen well. For that he was a spirit too delicate to act their earthly and abhorred commands. Refusing their grand hests, they did confine him by help of their most potent ministers. And in their most unmitigable rage, into a cloven pine, within which rift imprisoned, he didst painfully remain. What? Shakespeare, The Tempest. So that's from a play written by Shakespeare. The play is called The Tempest. I know you didn't understand that very well, but there is this man who is very good, and he has been imprisoned. And this is a hint that Mrs. Who is giving to Calvin. Now, Calvin, I believe, is supposed to have already read this in school, and he will be able to understand this when he needs it. Where are you, Mrs. Who? Charles Wallace asked. Where is Mrs. Witch? We cannot come to you now. Mrs. Who's voice blew to them like the wind. Alvis bin ich nicht, doch will es mit bewusst. Goth. I do not know everything. Still many things I understand. That is for you, Charles. Remember that you do not know everything. Then the voice was directed to Meg. To you, I leave my glasses. Little blind as a bat, but do not use them except as a last resort. Save them for the final moment of peril. As she spoke, there was another shimmer of spectacles, and then it was gone, and the voice faded out with it. The spectacles were in Meg's hand. She put them carefully into the breast pocket of her blazer, and the knowledge that they were there somehow made her a little less afraid. So the other two got quotes. Okay, Charles Wallace gets this quote by Goth, reminding him you don't know everything. And then Calvin got this quote from The Tempest, which basically means because some man was too good, he was imprisoned. Now, Mrs. Witch. To all three of you, I give my command. I'm just going to direct them. Mrs. Witch said, go down into the town. Go together. Do not let them separate you. Be strong. Go together. Don't get separated. Stay strong together. There was a flicker, and then it vanished. Meg shivered. Mrs. Whatsit must have seen the shiver, for she patted Meg on the shoulder. Then she turned to Calvin. Take care of Meg. I can take care of Meg, Charles Wallace said rather sharply. I always have. Mrs. Whatsit looked at Charles Wallace, and the creaky voice seemed somehow both to soften and to deepen at the same time. Charles Wallace, the danger here is greatest for you. Why? Because of what you are. Just exactly because of what you are, or what you are will be by far the most vulnerable. You must stay with Meg and Calvin. You must not go off on your own. Beware of pride and arrogance, Charles, for they may betray you, thinking he knows too much. At the tone of Mrs. Whatsit's voice, both warning and frightening, Meg shivered again. And Charles Wallace butted up against Mrs. Whatsit in the way he often did with his mother, whispering, now I think I know what you meant about being afraid. Only a fool is not afraid, Mrs. Whatsit told him. Now go. And where she had been, there was only sky and grasses and a small rock. Come on, Meg said impatiently. Come on, let's go. She was completely unaware that her voice was trembling like an aspen leaf. She took Charles Wallace and Calvin each by the hand and started down the hill. And this next part, where we get into that break, is where we really get the description of the new setting. And once again, I'm going to pause. I have not reached 20 minutes, but when we get into this next part, we're going to spend a lot of time going through the setting together, and that will be its own lesson again. So we will end a little bit early today. Nothing to write for you today, and hopefully you've got all of my hints and are going to be able to get those answers on your quiz later on too. Bye.